I tell you what, I've just saw some photos from Sierra Leone on the social media, right? Because I don't know what's wrong with that country. I know that is a serious surgery. Emotional, mental surgery needs to be performed in the hearts and minds and brain of those people. Honestly, the corrupt thinking, not just economically corrupt, but it's just the corrupt thinking that has engulfed the nation for such a long period of time. It seems to really, um, darken their horizon, their view of the world about themselves and about progress. I mean, the reason I said that, right? This is a time that people really go out and enjoy themselves, especially if you've been working all year round. Not so for many Sierra Leoneans. They've not been at work for a very long time. And, in Sierra Leone, this season is very festive. Everybody, whether you have or not, you tend to enjoy. Now, people have been complaining, right, about the hardship in the country. Now they have a new government. This is the second year now. And from things or what have gone on, like I said, there is anarchy in that country for the last 30 years. It's just that Sierra Leoneans are not really, like I said, they love enjoyment. Nothing to make them think twice or hard enough or look deeper into themselves. They don't like it. And so therefore, give them something to just marry about. Yeah, that's cool. So they've not been at work for such a long time. And when a new government comes in, because what used to happen, the corruption, economic corruption that has taken place for such a long time, whereby people don't work, they wait for handouts, where government ministers who so lack political progress, and will give people handouts so that they don't have to go to school, they don't have to work, i.e., such a government don't have to provide no amenities that would develop the people themselves, neither the community or the society or the country at large, right? So the country has been like this for such a very, very long time. I would say from the 70s, I don't think the government, because the only two main governments are there, like the SLPP, who are now in governance, the Sierra Leone People's Party, and the All People's Congress, the APC. Now, what is like the APC is not in government, and I think, according to the history, the understanding of my knowledge, according to this, the experience I've had in Sierra Leone and the history of the country, the APC party has not done anything for the people of the country nationwide. All right, but they have done much more for people individually. And now, when you look at under the APC, you have the majority of illiteracy in the country. I mean, the worst in Africa, right? So what the APC used to do, like I said, they manipulate the illiterate people in order to gain chaos or to manage chaos and confusion in the country. So if you put people who don't really know what you're talking about, giving them money or some kind of status, they will manage that because they know that if they are not in power, there is no way they're going to actually have the intellect to manage things. So they put people who are so uneducated to cause chaos and confusion, anarchy in the country for such a long time. Hence, they've never really invest in educational system in the country. So normal Sierra Leoneans don't know how to make work for themselves. They're dependent on this handout. Anyway, so this festive season, right? You have a place they call the beach. You have so many beaches in the country, right? And one of the political parties, right? They are having a sort of outing in one of these beach, Bure Beach, in the peninsula of Freetown, right? and they've made a big deal out of this one. Well, watch the madness now, right? Watch the madness. There are a lot of people who are going, dancing, and eating. The APC is going to provide a lot of food, a lot of alcohol, and everything else that you might need when it comes to enjoyment, right? Now, they're not in power. And when you look at what they're doing in parliament, they're not bringing they're not challenging or trying to develop the country as a whole. All they worry about is their party, political party, getting into power. Now, watch the madness, as I said. The people who are struggling, complaining that they don't have much to eat, not seeing much vision ahead of them in terms of where this is going to come from. Now, they all go in there for one day and one day only. They're going to have enough to eat, enough to drink, enough music, right? Now, if these people, so-called political parties, love the country in which they want to govern, the country, not the people, not a color, the country. And Sierra Leone has a majority of 7 million people. That's not a lot at all. That's not a lot. Even Lambeth put together, or Savak, I think, has more people than the whole country, right? Yet, it's taken over 50 years to build a country. Over 50 years, all right? Because independence of now, 57 years or so, coming to 58, all right? There we are. And the people are going to go to the beach, wear red, because that's the party color for APC, wear red. And they're going to populate the whole beach. They're going to eat, they're going to drink, they're going to be singing for the APC party to come back in power. But hold on a minute. Like I said, because the country is about 80% illiterate, they don't worry about these people who are there, who are now not in party. They're not seeing what they're doing. All they're doing is galvanize the people that, oh, things are going to get better when we come back to power. But little do they know, for over 30 years, that the APC has ruled the people, the whole, for the amount of years they've had in the whole history of the country independence. They haven't done anything to benefit education in the country, infrastructure in the country, nothing. All they've done to benefit is their political parties, some individual groups, and some regional parts of the country, right? That's the aim. And you have majority of people going there to dance and to eat. And then tomorrow or the day after, they're going to start complaining back to normal. Things are tough. Things are hard. But they're not looking at the people who are making things hard for them, which is their political parties, which is their ministers, who are making things so hard for them. They don't have the intellectual ability to think that, hold on a minute, Sierra Leone is so rich and we are 7 million people. Now, if you begin to calculate the wealth of those ministers who are there and put them in, put it together, you can see that it will take Sierra Leone as a whole, a country, a year to build if they're so determined to do so. However, that is not their aim. That is not the ambition. That is not the plan. Now, these people are there partying in the beach. I saw a lot of pictures, people wearing red, eating and drinking and dancing, which I said Sierra Leoneans are good for that, but anything to make them think deeply about themselves and their country as a whole, no way. They avoid that, and they like to pickpocket in political, struggle holes where things are not going right. But this is so mad. It's like people who are suffering from a state of, in a state of permafrost. They're frozen. They can't think. They can't look at the history of the country. They can't put things into perspective because both parties are using the illiterate ones to create confusion in the country, right? And that's what they've been doing for such a long time. So the country is in a state of madness. I saw recently, right? If you didn't know that Idris Elba parents are from Sierra Leone, and he was there in the country, Idris Elba. He was there in the country, some figure who has done so much, around the world, who people around the world know, but they might not really know that he or his parents are from Sierra Leone, right? He went to Sierra Leone, and the government recognized him and they gave him a Sierra Leone passport. Because why? His parents are from Sierra Leone. That's what the constitution say. And you have a Lebanese Lots of Lebanese who are born in Sierra Leone, but their parents, because they're not black and their parents are not from Sierra Leone, i.e., whether they're born there or not, they have to be naturalized in order to become a Sierra Leonean. Now, there is all heap of confusion about that. Instead of Sierra Leonean, look at what Idris Elba has done. Like I said, these are people who are not intelligent. These are people who are not educated, right? What the party figures or members told them, that's what they go with, right? They're not able to see that one of ours who has done so much around the world as an actor, right? Has done so much around the world, could be an ambassador for the country, because we don't really encourage people like those, ever. You know, Sierra Leone don't do that because they don't want the country to progress. These people who are so-called ministers, they don't want it. So you wouldn't see people who've lived in the West for such a long time, or our children who are born here, say, yeah, let me go back to... They don't encourage that at all. Anyway, this government did, called him, give him a passport, make him a diplomat, you know what I mean, as a diplomatic figure and all that. And yet, people are using that as a political stick to beat up each other and create some political issue around it, right? And this is the problem that the country has. But you give Sierra Leonean rum, you know, alcohol, and whatever you have to give to them. Oh, that's cool, you know. And when you look at it as well, the majority of the people are religious, right? The majority of the people are religious. So where is the common sense around this? Where is the nation building? Where is the nation building? Where is the art? Where is the determination? Where is that zeal to build your nation rather than building yourself or building your political party? It is so ridiculous, but as a state in which we found ourselves in Sierra Leone. Well, let's take another track. Since Sierra Leone is like, they call it Lion Mountain, you know, the Portuguese, when they were there, they look at the shape, you know, when they came through the sea, they look at the shape of the country. It's like a lion, you know, and they call it Sierra Leone, like Lion Mountain. So this is the track, just to, you know, this is by Clinton, actually. And he talks about Sleeping Lion, okay? Yeah, man, let's take one of Mr. Farron Clinton.